Sonic's death. When jumping out of a plane, he forgot his parachute and fucking
I probably made it clear on this channel by now, but I've been a pretty big Sonic fan most of my life. I would elaborate more on my experiences, but I'm just not in the mood really. It's been a while, but we're soon getting the next mainline Sonic game, Sonic Frontiers. By this point, we've been given enough info that I felt like making a quick impressions video on it. Excluding Sonic Mania, the last Sonic game I look back fondly on is Generations, and that was over a decade ago. I played a good amount of Lost World as a kid, but that game kinda sucks. No comments on Forces. When we saw the first showcase in June, I was quite worried about the game, because it was looking rough. I know there's all that junk about how they were showing earlier builds, so the final release is gonna appear better, but like, when was the last time we had to give that excuse for how a game looked before release? To this extent as well? Originally, the game was just seeming like they put modern Sonic into these open environments, and then called it a day. I'm sure it'd be fun, but after 5 years, I wouldn't lie in saying that a part of me was disappointed. And by that I mean the entire part of my body that holds the soul. My biggest issue for most of what we saw in June is that everything wasn't really coming together like I would have wanted it to. You could blame IGN for how they made the videos and all that junk, but at the end of the day, Sega was still responsible for showing off this game, and they went about it the wrong way. The best showcase in that month was in that mini direct, and then we just got that new story trailer, and a bunch of demo footage. So let's speak more on that, now that we're in a more positive view of the game, I guess. To start off, Sonic looks like he's decently fun to control. I've enjoyed a number of the Boost Formula games, but I cannot say Sonic has ever been that great to actually play as when you're not boosting. It's been passable in the past, but it's always been something that's held those games back. Lost World didn't control that good either. From the get-go, Sonic seems much slower than he did in the Boost games, and the conventional boost doesn't seem to be in the game where you just blaze through enemies. It's like an in-between of the Boost and Adventure games, which makes me really happy. This betters the chances for enemies and hazards to be proper obstacles again, and allow for the game to be less on rails. Seeing Sonic move around? Yeah, it doesn't look spectacular to me yet, but the act of controlling Sonic appears to be actually fun again, which I haven't felt since, The combat's now looking decent if you ask me. When you look at the series as a whole, and Sonic as a character, you can tell how they really wanted it to be an action series, along with a platformer, so adding combat makes sense at this point. Combat in 3D platformers have always been a mixed bag, but the movement side of fighting looks pretty fun. I really hope it's all about zipping around groups of enemies, and dispatching them one by one as you evade attacks. You know, stuff like Spider-Man PS4 or other action games. The only part I'm concerned about is the actual punching. Watching the footage, it seems like you're going to be mashing the attack button a bunch to get those hits in, and I don't know how good that'll feel in the long run. I do love all the other moves shown, like the circle move, the projectiles, and whatever the heck this is. So overall, I'm pretty hopeful about this part of the game. Now if that music we heard in the Nintendo Direct is the combat theme, oh, we may have something good here. An aspect of the game that I'm currently more mixed on is the Cyberspace stages. I'm one of those people that is annoyed that this is once again a Sonic game that is reusing older locations for zones. Yes, I know they're here because it has something to do with Sonic's memories, and there's a story context, but that does not take away from the fact that so many of the past Sonic games this decade have relied on using older zones. I love Sonic Mania, but I would have taken all original zones any day of the week. The level design for all these older zones haven't been wowing me. It seems like a lot of linear rectangles that are over in a minute. The big exceptions so far are those city levels. The theme doesn't remind me of anything specific from the past games, and the layout has so many paths from what's been shown. My current stance on the Cyberspace levels is that they look like they'll be enjoyable enough with Sonic's new control scheme, but they haven't been my main hook for the game, and I understand those that were looking forward to this part of the game being disappointed so far. While we got a little bit of that negative energy going on, I just want to say, the environments of the Starfall Islands haven't grabbed me much. Some shots have been cool, especially at night, but I found the desert to be really generic and bland, and the first island hasn't looked that special either. I look forward to being able to run around the environments and explore, But I don't know, going more quote-unquote realistic would have been my first pick for how the world is designed. The first island has at least been growing on me more, so maybe I'll warm up to the visuals by the time it releases. I wanted to save this for last, but the part of the game that I'm having full confidence in is the story. Pretty much every dedicated Sonic fan at this point knows Ian Flynn, a writer on the Sonic IDW comics, is the writer for this game. Something that has been wanted for a long time, and it's so cool to see Sega finally doing it. It's no shock to say that the writing of Sonic games have been very messy throughout the years. We've had our good times, and we've also had our times. The direction the writing took after Colors wasn't the worst in concept. I don't mind the idea of Sonic being more like a Saturday morning cartoon for like a game or two. The problem was that it was a very bad Saturday morning cartoon, and then whenever they tried drama, I don't know if they actually tried or not. Ian's already shown he can do drama with Sonic and make it believable, and with what we know about the story of Frontiers and the scenes shown off, it's feeling like something right out of the IDW stories. Even if the CG scenes won't actually be in the game, unfortunately. Sage is the first design from the games I've liked in a while, and the cutscenes we've been getting glimpses of look pretty good. They're all in game, but the direction and animation is already giving off so much more personality than the past games. From the little clips we've heard, Sonic's voice also sounds deeper? It's still Roger, but he's certainly got a different direction this time. Not too big on how deep some of the lines have sounded, but his overall deliveries have been an improvement. This may be the game that wins people over for Roger Sonic. And that's basically all I have to say about Sonic Frontiers so far. I wasn't all that excited about the game in June, but the hype has been growing. Still a bit cautious on how the game will turn out, but I at least think it'll be fun. My expectations for this game are that it should be better than Sonic Colors at the least, and at most, up there with Generations, but for different reasons. I love Generations, but it certainly had weak points that Frontiers could be better at, like the story. Either way, I have filled my Sonic discussion quota until the game comes out. I'll see y'all for that Splatoon 3 story mode video. Well, that seems like a good place to call it for this video. If you like what I do, subscribing and all that junk would be cool. Yeah. I may end up making a video about Frontiers when the game releases at this rate, so yeah, I guess you can look forward to that. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to playing Splatoon 3, so thanks for watching and have a good day or whatever.